Guys, we just received the newest edition of Unearthed Arcana for 2020, this time looking at subclasses revisited. This time around we have options for the Rogue, the Wizard, and the Warlock, and if you thought the Warlock already had too many customization options, buckle up. As always, I will leave a link to the full Unearthed Arcana page for you to review yourself in the description down below. So without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. To begin, we have the new subclass for Rogue, the Phantom Rogue, described as walking the fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. At level 3, whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can gain one skill or tool proficiency of your choice as a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you. This proficiency lasts until you use this feature again. Now, right away, as a rogue, you probably already have all the proficiencies of tools or skill proficiencies that you'd want when you made your character, so I'm not exactly sure how useful this is, but anyway, let's continue. Also at level 3, you gain Wails from the Grave. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Roll half your sneak attack dice, round up, and the second creature takes psychic damage equal to the number rolled. You can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all uses when you finish a long rest. At level 9, you gain the Tokens of the Departed feature. When a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul, a sliver of its life essence that takes a physical form. As a reaction, when a creature you can see dies within 30 feet of you, you can open your free hand and a tiny trinket appears there, a soul trinket. Your DM chooses the trinket's form or has you roll on the table in the PHB. While you possess the soul trinket, you have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws. And you can have a maximum number of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you cannot create one while you are at maximum. As an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets no matter where it's located on your person or off. When you do this, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. This spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful and answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. This ability basically functions like a Swiss Army knife of other features other classes get, and it also gets a very minor version of the Speak with Dead spell. The only issue is that the character you speak with doesn't need to tell the truth, which is a problem. The death saving throw and constitution saving throw effect are nice, but the rest of this seems a little bit weak for level 9. At level 13, you gain the Ghost Walk feature. You can now phase partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. As a bonus action, you assume a spectral form. While in this form, you have a flying speed of 10 feet, you can hover, and all attack rolls have disadvantage against you. You can also move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside of a creature or an object, as any other incorporeal creature does. You can stay like this for 10 minutes or until you end it as a bonus action. Use this feature again, you must finish a long rest or destroy one of the soul trinkets you created from your previous ability. This ability is insane because every creature gets disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and as a rogue, you probably have really good saving throws against attacks that do not require rolls already, so you will just be taking a lot less damage. 10 minutes means you can probably do this through multiple encounters. This is a fantastic ability for the rogue to get. At level 17, you gain Death Knell. When you use your Wails from the Grave feature, you can now deal psychic damage to both the first and the second creature, basically meaning you can do 50% more damage with your sneak attack die on the character you hit initially. And at 17th level, you're getting a lot of hit dice, which means the amount of damage you're outputting to a single target is insane. Overall, this class is very flavorful and very powerful to boot, and I'm excited to see where and when this gets printed. Next up, we have the new Warlock Otherworldly patron being the Genie. This Genie patron was a revised version of the Noble Genie from previous Unearthed Arcana, and not only do you get to choose the Genie patron, but you get 4 different sub-patrons of the Genie to choose from. You can choose which type of Genie randomly or use the Genie kind table. Each Genie is associated with a particular type of element. The Dao get the earth element, the Jinni get the air element, the Afridi get the fire element, and the Merid get the water element. Now, as usual, when you pick a patron, you get a list of expanded spells, and for the Genie, you get to Detect Good and Evil, Phantasmal Force, Create Food and Water, Phantasmal Killer, Creation, and for the first time ever, a Warlock patron grants you a 9th level spell, and that spell is Wish. Now, the fact that we just got our first ever 9th level granted spell from a patron has serious implications for future printings of Unearthed Arcana or other Warlock subclasses in general. But besides that, if there was ever a time to give Warlocks the Wish spell, I think the Genie patron was the perfect time to do it. Granted, I think it should have probably been in the previous version of Unearthed Arcana, the Noble Genie, but we're way past that now. Now, on top of the already granted expanded spell list you get from the Genie, you also get a separate expanded spell list depending on which Genie you choose. For the Tao, you get Sanctuary, Spike Growth, Meld into Stone, Stone Shape, and Wall of Stone. For the Djinni, you get Thunderwave, Gust of Wind, Wind Wall, Greater Invisibility, and Seeming. For the Ifriti, you get Burning Hands, Scorching Ray, Fireball, Fire Shield, and Flame Strike. And for the Merid, you get Fog Cloud, Blur, Sleet Storm, Control Water, and Cone of Cold. Now, something that caught my attention when reading over these expanded spells was that the Ifriti's expanded spells directly mirror the Pact of the Fiend in the player's handbook. All 5 of these spells are granted by the Pact of the Fiend patron, but you also get more with the Fiend patron. But I do suppose that the already existing expanded spell list of the Genie in general makes up for this. It's just really strange to see this be just basically a reprint for the sub-Genie. I don't know, that was just a passing thought of mine. Moving on from the bucket load of spells that you get from the Genie patron, we move on to the Genie's abilities. Starting at first level, you get the Genie's Vessel. Your patron grants you a magical vessel that grants you the measure of the Genie's power. The vessel is a tiny object, you can use it as a spellcasting focus, and you can decide what it is or determine it randomly. While you have the vessel, you can use an action and magically vanish and enter your vessel, which remains in the space you left. The interior of the vessel is an extra dimensional space in the shape of a 20-foot radius cylinder, 20 feet high, and resembles your vessel. The interior is comfortably appointed with cushions and low tables and is a comfortable temperature. While inside, you can hear the area around your vessel as if you were in its space. You can remain inside the vessel up to a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency bonus. You get ejected from the vessel early if you use a bonus action to leave, you die, or if the vessel is destroyed. When you exit the vessel, you appear in an unoccupied space closest to it. Any objects left inside the vessel remain there until carried out, and if the vessel is destroyed, every object there harmlessly appears in an unoccupied space closest to the vessel's former space. Once you enter it, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest. Your vessel also gets the Genie's Wrath feature. Once during each of your turns when you hit with an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your proficiency bonus. This type of damage is determined by your patron, bludgeoning for the Tao, thunder for the Djinni, fire for the Ifriti, or cold for the Merid. The vessel's AC equals your spell save DC, its hit points equal your warlock level plus your proficiency bonus, and it is immune to poison and psychic damage. If the vessel is destroyed or you lose it, you can perform a 1-hour prayer to your patron to receive a replacement. This prayer can be performed during a short or long rest, and the previous vessel is destroyed if it still exists. The vessel vanishes in a flare of elemental power when you die. So if you like dealing even more damage with your Eldritch Blast, this patron is for you. At level 6, you gain the Elemental Gift. You begin to take on the characteristics of your patron's kind. You now have resistance to a damage type determined by your patron's kind, bludgeoning for Tao, thunder for Djinni, fire for Ifriti, or cold for Merid. In addition, as a bonus action, you can basically cast a limited version of Fly on yourself that has 30 feet of movement speed and lasts for 10 minutes. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and after a long rest, you get all uses back. At level 10, you get the Sanctuary Vessel. When you enter your Genie's Vessel via the Bottled Respite feature, you can now choose up to 5 willing creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you, and the chosen creatures are drawn into the vessel with you. As a bonus action, you can eject any number of creatures from the vessel, and everyone is ejected if you leave or the vessel is destroyed. In addition, anyone, including you, who remains within the vessel for at least 10 minutes gains the benefits of a short rest. And anyone can add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit dice as part of a short rest there. So being able to shrink your short rest down from 1 hour to 10 minutes and gain additional health from your hit dice means you are taking less short rests. This ability is fantastic. For level 14, you gain the Limited Wish feature. As an action, you can speak your wish into the Genie's Vessel, requesting the effect of one spell that is 6th level or lower and has a casting time of 1 action. The spell can be from any class's spell list, and you don't need to meet the requirements for that spell, including costly components. The spell simply takes effect as part of this action. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish 1d4 long rests. So basically, you can cast any spell in the game 6th level or lower, as much as once per day or as little as twice per week. I cannot even fathom how powerful this ability is, as it would take a review of basically the entire existing spell list of 5th edition. And finally, we move on to the wizard option, the Order of Scribes. Starting at level 2, the Order of Scribes gains the Wizardly Quill feature. As a bonus action, you can magically create a tiny quill in your free hand. The quill does not require ink, and when you write with it, it produces ink in a color of your choice on the writing surface. The gold and time you must spend to copy a spell into your spellbook are halved if you use this quill, and you can erase anything you write with it if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided you are within 5 feet of it. The quill disappears if you create another one. Also at level 2, you gain the Awakened Spellbook. You have awakened the arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you are holding the book, you can use it as spellcasting focus. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with the damage type of another spell in your spellbook. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this again, you cannot do so until you finish a long rest. And if necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils in a blank book or a magic spellbook to which you are attuned. At the end of the rest, your spellbook's consciousness is summoned into the new book with all of the spells, and the previous book vanishes. At level 6, you gain the Master Scrivener feature. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can create one magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of paper or parchment, and causing one spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spellbook must be within 5 feet of you when you make the scroll. The chosen spell must be either level 1 or 2 and must have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as 1 level higher, so up to 3. You can cast the spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. You are also adept at crafting spell scrolls, which is in the DMG, and the gold and time you must spend to make such a scroll are halved if you use your wizardly quill. At level 10, you gain the Manifest Mind feature. As a bonus action, you can summon a tiny spectral construct representing your spellbook within 60 feet of you. This construct's presence is intangible and does not count as occupying the space, and sheds a dim light within a 10-foot radius. It can be a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past, your choice, and has a number of hit points equal to your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. It also uses your armor class and your saving throws. While manifested, the Spectral Mind can hear and see and has dark vision up to a range of 60 feet. As an action, you can hear and see using its senses instead of your own, using your concentration. Whenever you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can choose to cast it in the Spectral Mind space instead of your own, and you can only do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all uses when you finish a long rest. As a bonus action, you can cause the Spectral Mind to hover 30 feet in an unoccupied space that you can see. It can pass through creatures but not objects. The Spectral Mind stops manifesting if it is more than 300 feet away from you, if it drops to 0 hit points, if you die, or dismiss it as another bonus action. At level 14, you gain the One with the Word feature. While holding your book and the Spectral Mind is manifest, you can use an action to cause the two of you to teleport, swapping places. You can teleport in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Also, if you die but at least one spell remains in your awakened spellbook, you can return to life 1 minute later within 5 feet of the book. You revive with 1 hit point, then roll 3d6. The book loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. So basically, if you roll a 9, you must remove spells from your spellbook that equal up to 9th level, meaning 1 9th level spell, 3 3rd level spells, or etc, etc. Once this is done, you are incapable of casting the lost spells even if you find them on a scroll or in another spellbook. The only way to restore your ability to cast one of the lost spells is through the Wish spell, which can restore 1 spell to the book per casting. So in essence, you are essentially sacrificing your ability to cast for the ability to live should something very unfortunate happen to your character. Now, is this worth it? Now, going purely based off of averages of numbers, you will be rolling an average of 10 to 10.5 on that roll each time. So every time you die, you will be sacrificing likely more than 1 spell out of your spellbook that you permanently will be unable to cast. Now, granted, wizards get a lot of spells, but high rolling on this roll guarantees that you basically lose probably almost a quarter, if not more, of your spellbook. Hey, Editor Meta from the future just chiming in here. I actually got this part wrong. I was calculating it based on how many spell slots you have, while in fact, wizards could have several hundred spell slots worth of spells inscribed into their spellbook by this point. So theoretically, you could only lose about 1/100th of your spellbook per death if you had like every spell in the game inscribed. I just wanted to make that clarification. Now, I personally believe that this is an extremely harsh penalty to take to avoid death, but it is basically preventing death, so the value is entirely up to you. Also, fun fact, this wizard subclass was actually a reprint of an artificer subclass that was made earlier and has since been abandoned in development. We also just got the unfortunate news that the Onomancy Wizard and the Psionics Wizard have officially been scrapped from development at the footnote of this Unearthed Arcana. I was personally looking forward to seeing what they did with the Psionics Wizard more than anything. As reviewing that, I got some ideas in my head about what I could make with a character for that. But it is what it is. It's gone, dead, nothing we can do about it. But that is going to do it for this version of Unearthed Arcana. As always, let me know in the comments what you guys think of these new subclasses. These are the ones they decided to go forward with while abandoning some others, so we will likely see some version of these in a reprint. I personally love the new Warlock subclass, and as I said before, them getting their first 9th level expanded spell from their patron opens up a whole new world to what we can be getting in the future for the Warlock class. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Looking forward to seeing all of your thoughts, and until next time, guys, happy gaming.